Hey everybody, welcome to Far Out Dudes.
It's another week, and we got another far out conversation for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Paul.
Joseph?
And Jacob. Sorry about that, boys. I was trying to do something. Today, what we're going to be doing is reacting to the rise of Bill Clinton.
Me and Joseph have not seen this before. Jacob, have you seen it too? Or
I saw it maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. This is an old video that we're watching.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a
Let's play
reaction
it.
for all of us, kind of slightly.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Play the first video.
On the night of August 23rd, 1987, just
pause
outside
it.
the little town of Alexander, Arkansas, Kevin Ives, 17, and Don Henry, 60, witnessed a cocaine drop, which was part of the drug smuggling operation in Mena, Arkansas.
For Bill Clinton.
The boys were captured and their hands were tied behind their backs. They were kicked and beaten and finally executed. One of the boys was stabbed to death.
God.
The bodies were wrapped in a tarpaulin and placed across the railway tracks to be mangled by the next train.
Holy
What does this have to do with Bill Clinton? Like, this is very
Mena, Arkansas.
gruesome.
I like how the title of the video is called Bill Clinton's Rise to Power, and the first thing they talk about is these two young kids being brutally murdered.
And then put on railroad tracks to get smushed and literally mangled.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, this is a Corbett Report video, and we're just watching the parts from Bill
No, I
Clinton's
get
rise to
that, but
power.
I'm just saying, like, how he's like getting us already like emotionally involved into the situation. Like, holy crap, two young kids just got like brutally murdered.
Disgust.
And then at the bottom you see Bill Clinton. Like, holy crap, Bill Clinton murdered.
I hope we survive the
and
week.
and it's in Little Rock, Arkansas, where he was like
he was the
that's-
governor of
yeah.
Arkansas.
So that's crazy.
The Arkansas medical examiner, Fahmy Malik, ruled the deaths an accident. He said the boys had smoked marijuana joints.
They smoke marijuana. That typically happens when people smoke marijuana. They go and stab themselves,
Yeah.
tie themselves up, and throw
then
on railroad tracks
That's kind of reminds me of
after
like,
they're dead.
Do you remember how they're like, marijuana is a gateway drug?
Yeah. To like crack.
It'll lead you to murder your unborn child.
Yeah,
Wait, no,
you
that's
know,
kinda not
you know
right.
those marijuana smokers are always fighting with each other.
Yeah.
into fights.
When you smoke marijuana, you may end up killing your parents.
or those
And you'll forget that you killed your parents. Wait, what?
those PSAs where they're injecting one whole marijuanas
Yeah.
into their body to overdose.
Next thing you know, you'll be smoking it. Next thing you know, you'll be injecting marijuana.
You remember our cousin that had died from injecting like 5 marijuanas into their body?
Yeah, but the thing is, they can't be laced with anything. It's got to be pure, uncut marijuana
Yeah.
that you inject into your body.
Yeah.
And had fallen into a trance on the railway tracks, side by side.
Side by side.
Into a trance.
How conveniently they fell into a trance side by side on a railroad tracks.
Yep, it
Facts
happens.
would later show the crime lab never tested the concentration of marijuana in their blood. They were told to back Malik's ruling. Bill Clinton was the only person to whom the crime lab answered. Kevin Ives' mother, Linda, created such a stir that a grand jury was called to investigate the case. The bodies were exhumed, and a second autopsy was conducted by the Atlanta medical examiner, Dr. Joseph Burton. He showed an enhanced photograph of the wound to 6 other forensic investigators. They all concurred that it was a stab wound. He also found that Kevin Ives had been smashed in the head with a rifle butt.
Hey, well, that sounds to me like that marijuana really got them going.
Where would they get stab wounds from if they weren't stabbed?
And his head was crushed with the buttstock of a
But,
weapon.
yeah, it's
Marijuana does that to you, man.
when you smoke
the last
the
time,
the Jane,
yeah,
you just wounds start opening up.
yeah,
you
the
get
last
bruises
the
out of
last
nowhere.
time I smoked marijuana, the last time I smoked weed, I literally just decided, like, I just started
Can we
stabbing my
say
thigh.
weed
Yep.
and
Yeah, you can
stuff?
say weed on. Yeah, you can
And
say
people
weed on.
were pistol whipping each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
do
what
that all the time.
happens.
We always just grab our 9mm and just like point them at each other and like
Start just
pop,
ha, we're high.
yeah, yeah. Hey, this is fun, guys. Stab, stab, stab.
You ready to go into a trance? Yeah. Let's go lay down the railroad tracks and go into a trance.
No. Before we go into a trance, let's go to the railroad tracks first.
Yeah.
They're probably,
safety first.
they're probably involved in like a fight club or something.
Yeah.
Well-
yeah, back in the day, there was a lot of fight clubs back then that involved 15-year-old boys.
Smoking weed. That's the first thing you got to do. The real first rule of Fight Club is you got to smoke the J first.
And you have to have 15-year-old boys. I don't know why that's the case, but that's the case.
You're really emphasizing the boys.
You're
making me.
Hey, I'm just putting Bill
You gotta
Clinton.
have a lot of boys around you.
I'm just putting Bill Clinton and 15-year-old boys together. That's all. That's the connection I see here.
The grand jury concluded that the deaths of Don Henry and Kevin Ives were definitely the result of foul play. It urged that law enforcement agencies, the prosecuting attorney's office, to continue the investigation into the deaths of Don Henry and Kevin Ives and into the drug problem in Saline County. Because of Linda Ives' investigation into the death of her son, she was placed on Bill Clinton's enemy list by White House counsel Mark Fabian.
She was put on an enemy list because she wanted to know how her son and his friend died.
Yeah.
Not even died, got murdered.
Got stabbed, crushed skull, and then ended up on railroad tracks.
To be run over.
Yeah, she's asking too many questions. I don't know anybody who would ask questions after we told them they were in a trance from smoking weed and
weed.
Yeah.
That we didn't test for.
Yeah.
Reefer madness.
It's the late 80s, teenage kids.
Yeah.
It's probably weed.
Just
Wrap it up, boys.
It makes you think, like, how lazy were the cops back then? They're like, yeah, smells like weed. Definitely in a trance. Definitely.
Yeah,
late.
it's the smell from the.
This is.
What are you doing back
They
there?
probably went like this. Like, do it.
They were doing the searching.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody. I don't see him.
No, it had to have been the kids themselves.
Is there anybody behind that tree?
That
All right, it's
THC in it, that definitely got them in a trance and like definitely put them into onto the railroad tracks.
THC them in a coffin.
Yeah.
Already, people associated with the case were beginning to die in what amounted to a reign of terror among young people in Alexander, Arkansas.
Jacob, can you see my hand?
April 9th.
Hold on. I was hoping that I could do it without telling you to stop. Wait, did you hear what he said?
No, what did he say?
He said people associated with the investigation began to die.
Wait.
That sounds like the Clintons. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Did you not hear that?
Already, people associated with the case were beginning to die in what amounted to
He says it so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
People associated with the case were beginning to die.
Yeah. So, do you see that? Like, all of a sudden, people just started dying around the investigation.
Stop digging into it so much.
They were just so depressed that the kids died that they just started killing themselves.
We failed them.
It's kind of like when you start reading into the investigation, the smoke came from the investigation, and you died from inhalation of the weed that was being read off of the paper.
The medical examiner then examined them. They're like, weed, it's getting around. They're wanting to go lay down on tracks.
And then people
tie
associated
nooses around their necks
with the investigation began to die, everybody. Nothing to see here. They just all started dying.
a reign of terror among young people in Alexander, Arkansas. April 1988. Keith Coney told his mother he knew too much about the Ives-Henry murders and feared for his life. After being slashed in the neck, he was fleeing for his life on his motorcycle.
What?
This literally
happening?
feels like a sketch comedy off of SNL. Like to say like it's just
Something outrageous.
Hey, by the way, he knew too much, and next thing you know, his neck was slit while riding his motorcycle.
As
What?
he tried to get away.
It was because he was doing cocaine earlier that day, and he decided.
No, he also smoked marijuana.
Oh, it was marijuana.
And he was like, "I'm out here. I'm gonna go ride my bike."
"It was marijuana. It wasn't cocaine this time. It was marijuana."
Yeah, you always slit your throat before you start.
Time to have some fun.
You know what? I'm going all out, guys.
He wanted to feel. He wanted to know if he
That's
still
gonna get
felt.
edited.
And that's when you go boop, and kind of like boop, and you know, go ahead. Let's keep
When
going.
he slammed into the back of a truck and was killed.
I think he was
Booney
raped.
Bearden, a friend of the boys, disappeared.
I thought he said booty.
His body was never found. November 1988, Keith McCaskill claimed to have knowledge of the Ives-Henry murders, but was killed before he could testify.
Good lordy.
McCaskill, knowing that his life was in danger, had said goodbye to his friends and family.
Wow.
He died from 113 stab wounds.
How is
Who
not the whole
someone?
Why is not the whole
113 times?
My question is, why is not the whole community going, who is killing all of these people associated with this investigation?
You know
this
what
not being
happens when they do
reported?
that? They ask a question and they...
Oh, what was that
That's
that you were
why you
going to
never
ask?
find
Oh, you don't have a question anymore?
Oh, you got questions? Are you sure you have questions?
No, I don't know any. What? Who?
Case closed, Johnson. Let's wrap it up.
January 1989, Gregory Collins claimed to have knowledge of the Ives-Henry murders, but was killed before he could testify. Collins was found dead from a shotgun blast to the face.
Wow.
April 1989, Jeff Rhodes claimed to have knowledge of the Ives-Henry murders, but was killed before he could testify. His body was found in the city dump, dead of a gunshot wound to the head. July 1989, Richard Winters claimed to have knowledge of the Ives-Henry murders, but was killed before he could testify. Winters was silenced by a blast from a sawed-off shotgun.
Oh, I like how he said
June
that.
1990,
Silenced by a blast from a sawed-off shotgun.
It's those play on words. You got to keep people interested in them.
If you're one of the people in these towns, at what point do you go, I don't think I'm going to say anything? It doesn't sound like they're
let's
protecting
see.
anybody in these situations here.
6 people have been... their face has been blown off by shotguns.
Yeah.
I got some information.
Hey, is this where you give the information? I heard the other 6 people passed already,
Yes,
but
put your face in this hole.
yeah.
Jordan Kettleson claimed to have information on the Ives-Henry murders, but was killed before he could testify.
A shotgun blast.
He died from a shotgun blast to the head.
Man,
There's a piece.
The guy loved to kill people with shotguns.
I don't see any trend here. There's no
easy.
trend.
It's easy.
To date, no arrests have been made in regard to these murders.
Yeah, because everyone keeps dying.
Arkansas's medical examiner ruled the death of 2 teenage boys an accident, while several forensic investigators and a grand jury concluded they were murdered. But this was not the first nor the last time that Fahmy Malek's rulings would cause controversy. In 1985, a North Arkansas man was fatally shot, and Fahmy Malek ruled it a suicide. There were 4 gunshot wounds to the chest.
That sounds like someone who really just wants to end their life.
Yeah.
Head. He wants to preserve the head for his funeral. So
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 to the chest.
Yeah, if you don't...
That's
if
typically what happens.
I definitely have heard that if you don't get yourself on that third one, you definitely have enough strength and energy to shoot yourself a 4th time.
1 more to go, and then I'm definitely
One?
dead.
What? I didn't even... That was... What, a mosquito bite?
I will have to
2.
say...
A little uncomfortable, but not there yet. 3. Ooh, yeah, that one hit a little harder this time. 4. Okay, now I'm dead.
You're dead for good. And I like how this Fahmy guy is smart enough to be like, I don't want to die. Everyone's accidental, committed suicide. Don't worry about it, guys.
They're like,
don't worry about it.
What do you expect me to do? You think I want to end up like these other accidental? Nothing happened. I do not know anything about the Clintons.
And it's
I guess we're gonna get to that point.
Don't ask questions.
I guess we're gonna get to that point though, right? Like when they're gonna start talking about like
I hope so.
the Clintons' relations to. Oh, I guess they're building us up, right? So they're like getting you used to this individual who's like
They're
letting it
doing something.
doing all these cover-ups, and then it's gonna come out to be like he's the one that helped cover up the Clintons, I guess.
No, Bill Clinton himself did these murders.
No, what's going to eventually happen is they're going to figure out that Bill Clinton was behind these murders, and they're going to arrest him. I think that's what's going to happen.
Hey, before
Are you saying that because you've watched it and you know that's what's gonna happen, or are you just saying that?
I'm saying that because it doesn't happen. Nothing.
Oh,
there's no resolution at the end.
before when you edit this, blur our faces so no one knows, so they don't come after us. And I suicide myself by shooting myself in the back of the head with a shotgun
Yeah.
Okay.
Or stabbing myself 20 times
121 times
in my back in a perfect line down my spine.
to sever each one.
Yeah.
He was double jointed.
And was able to stab himself in the back.
It was a cool party trick he did.
while driving. He was doing this while driving.
In a 1986 case, Malik's ruling was accidental drowning. It was later discovered that the victim had been shot in the head.
This guy, it was a drowning. What about this giant chunk of skull missing in the back of his head?
This guy is definitely afraid of whoever is killing these people because he's like, it's obvious that the guy was shot in the back of the head. Yeah, he looked like he drowned.
Well, technically, he's not wrong because he may have had a giant gunshot in the back of the head, but what killed him was the drowning.
He had fluid in his lungs, guys. He was definitely dead from the fluid in his lungs.
So they drowned him,
wound.
pulled his body out, popped him in the back of the head, or he suicided himself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No one pulled him out. After he drowned himself, he shot himself in the back of the head.
He drowned and then shot himself in the back of the head.
That's how it works sometimes. You got to go that extra mile to kill yourself.
In 1992, a man's body was found with 5 bullet wounds, but Malik nevertheless ruled it a suicide.
If you don't get yourself with the first 4, the other guy it took him 4 shots. This one,
I think he was using a smaller caliber.
what was it?
Yeah.
So the first shot, mosquito bite. Second shot,
little tingly, no big deal.
A little uncomfortable. I'm starting to have a little trouble breathing. 3, not dead yet. I think I can survive this. 4, I'm dying.
Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance.
5, okay, yep, that did it for me.
Time to go throw myself in the pool.
What was it, like the Austin Powers thing where he shoots him? He's like, I'm still alive down here. Come get me.
Throws him off a cliff and everything.
Help me. Somebody help me.
Okay, let's get going.
In his most incredible ruling, Malik concluded that a James Milam had died of an ulcer. However, the man's skull was later recovered. He had been decapitated.
Do not move to Little Rock in the 1980s, guys. This is not a safe place for anyone to live. You can literally be ruled of dying of an ulcer when your body is found without your head, okay? Just saying.
I mean, yeah, his head's missing, but look at this ulcer. It's pretty obvious.
That ulcer it's pretty bad.
He had a bad ulcer in this thing. This definitely was the ulcer.
I don't care what medications he was taking. That ulcer was severe.
Well,
that's probably why he tried to decapitate himself.
He died.
He was just hurting.
Well, no. What happened was that he died of an ulcer, and somebody was like, "Whoa, we should preserve his head," and they cut off his head. That's what happened.
For the future.
For the future.
No, Futurama has the floating heads.
He signed a release for science for his head to be saved. So when they found out he died of an ulcer, the scientists of the government came, chopped off his head, forgot to report it to the police. And so then
what happened was he was having
the government.
He was having so much indigestion. The stomach acid was coming up to his neck, and it slowly eroded and it decapitated him.
That makes sense.
See,
I thought you were going to say like it blew off his head because of the acid like built up, came up so high and blew his head off.
Yeah. One theory I heard is the ulcer got him. He was like, "Oh my gosh, wherever the ulcer is," he fainted, fell on the running chainsaw, and just
decapitated.
Oh, he had a running chainsaw.
That's what happened.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
He was like, he fell forward and like there just so happened to be a chainsaw on the ground.
No, he had a guillotin in his
a guillotine.
Garage.
No,
a
what
guillotine?
happened? No, the chainsaw. He fell and it was, oh no, grabbed it. And
No, I think I like Jacob's theory best. He had an ulcer and he's like, he had a guillotine in his garage.
He
and
tripped and fell into the guillotine.
And he fell straight in and somehow his arm went, he like pulled the guillotine.
he was trying to catch his balance and accidentally pulled the fell.
Yeah.
And he's dead now.
Yeah.
Almost. Oh, yeah, decapitated. Yeah.
But hey,
poor guy.
With a sharp.
That's normal for Little Rock.
PSA, if you have an ulcer, go check it out. Go check it out, or you may be decapitated.
Actually, you should probably get rid of your guillotine in the garage just in case.
Get rid of any sharp objects that you have, okay?
Knife.
Don't decapitate yourself.
That Malik survived in Arkansas is a testament to Clinton's power.
Oh, no shit.
Just before Clinton announced his intentions to run for president, Malik was moved to another state job.
That's absolutely
So I think the relevant issue here with showing us like all the people that had died was basically to say Clinton was governor at the time. This guy, what was he? He was the DA. No, he was
a forensic guy who
was he the forensics guy?
I already forgot.
I already forgot what he was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is to show like how the governor basically just let all of these things happen and nobody was saying anything. Like, how do you go about and say this one little town, multiple people just kept dying of just unsuspected things and nobody raised an eyebrow to any of this?
They kept killing them. That's why I said the Little Rock, Arkansas suicide rate just like that half year just skyrocketed.
Yeah. It was because everybody was depressed that year. You know,
yeah, those poor
just
kids.
Like, hey, Little Rock, I'm just so sad. I think I'm just going to have an ulcer and decapitate myself.
Try not to think about it.
It's so bad there. You have an ulcer and then you decapitate yourself accidentally.
With the sharp knife. Oh, I'm sorry, with your guillotine.
Yeah.
Guillotine?
But I think that's the reason they're showing this at the beginning to show like how in Little Rock, where Clinton is from, he basically multiple people are dying and nothing's being done to do this, and it's being covered up in the process.
So was there any like
not to hide things at all though? Not
investigation into the medical examiner guy? Medical examiner.
Was he the medical examiner?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think
You think? Well, probably not because he's safe.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Well, I mean, he's gonna move
probably
him
dead
up
by
into
now,
a higher
too.
position in Arkansas.
I'd stay there. It's safe. They make good money. You're safe from the president.
I can literally do whatever I want, or I can't. I have to listen to. I'm literally under this guy's thumb right now, and I cannot move.
What if there wasn't anything malicious? It was just this guy didn't know anything about medical examination and was just ruling everything a suicide. So he didn't.
He looked suicide. Yep, suicide.
Decapitation, ulcer. What? Did you just Google that? Like what?
What?
I thought
an ulcer.
I thought ulcer meant decapitation. What are you looking at?
The medical
ulcerated.
medical
It
school
was ulcerated.
the medical school I went to says ulcers are deadly.
I don't think they had a Google back then in the 1980s.
He's typing on a typewriter. Ulcer.
He's looking in an encyclopedia. What happens when you have 5 gunshot wounds? Suicide. What? Okay. Suicide.
He just looked up the definition of suicide. Sounds like these guys.
Shot himself. He suicided himself. That's what. Whenever you get shot, it's definitely a suicide.
Especially when you stab yourself 121 times.
Yeah.
To make sure you die.
Wait, I smell marijuana.
Marijuana.
I smell marijuana.
You smell marijuana too?
Like, I smell marijuana on these kids. I hate marijuana. They suicided themselves.
So
They were in a trance and laid on the tracks.
His podcast. Like, share, subscribe.
You do that too?
It is.
No, put your hand somewhere on your head like that.
Exactly how